All right, now let's get to the latest battle when it comes to the parenting wars here. Spanking. Now, listen, we all get opinions on this one. You got a chance to sound off on it, and we're going to get around on the table on this one as well. Is it okay, and under what circumstances? The debate reignited recently by two things: new study about the possible long-term side effects of spanking, and a shocking disciplinary incident that landed this stepdad behind bars. Now, I would hope most agree here that this idiot crossed the line, and you'll see the video for yourself and be your own judge, but the issue isn't always so clear. Where is that line between abuse and discipline, and are we comfortable letting parents figure that one out on their own here? And that's what we're asking you at home. And again, here you see the number in the question, so please sound off. Okay, first though, we're going to hear from two moms on two sides of the debate, and again, that incident that has got so many parents talking. This disturbing video that has everybody talking shows a parent physically reprimanding a child for not catching a baseball. A punishment that ultimately landed the stepdad behind bars facing criminal charges. When this mom was asked if that behavior is appropriate, she said,
"Absolutely not. I mean, that's abuse right there."
But it does raise the question, where do we draw the line as parents when it comes to corporal punishment? Both Ilana Rosengarten and Joanna Mazuski, they're bloggers for the parenting website Babbel.com, and they both have young, active children. But they have very different approaches when it comes to discipline. When asked if spanking is ever appropriate, and if so, when, they had very different answers.
No. No.
When the child is in danger, total disrespect, when you've repeated yourself over and over and over again.
Joanna says spankings are a last resort, but have been a useful and effective tool when dealing with bad behavior from her 2-year-old and 4-year-old.
Putting them in their room is like a vacation for them. So if that tap on the tush happens, they say, hey, mom means business now. So
a recent study from the University of North Carolina revealed that nearly 80% of preschool-aged children are spanked in the United States. But Canadian researchers just released findings last week that suggest spanking children may increase the odds of mood disorders later in life.
By not spanking, it's estimated that we could prevent almost 5 to 7% of mood disorders, anxiety, depression, alcohol, these long-term effects.
You know, I think that there's a lot of things that you can do to punish your child or, demonstrate discipline besides spanking. Sometimes I feel like, spanking in the moment or, would maybe be an easier way to get my point across, but I just don't believe that that's setting a good example.
Right. I guess I kind of prefer the old-fashioned way. Like I said, I'm not interested in being my child's best friend. I want to be the parent. I want to be the authoritative figure in their life.
But with new fears of the long-term effects of spanking, the medical community continues to be clear in its recommendations, advising parents against corporal punishment of any kind. However, many families insist it remains a personal decision.
What you do inside your home with your family in your own privacy, you do what's best for your child. That's all that should matter.
All right, where is the line? And I think that's part of what makes this thing hard. Is it ever right to spank a kid? And as I said, we're going to bring you at home into our conversation. And we got kids here, and Andrew certainly his opinions is good because he was talking about when he was a kid. We went through this. You first here, because,
Common sense. As a father who has spanked his kids one time, and I remember as if it was yesterday, 15 years ago, I still feel bad about it. If your kid crosses a line and needs to get, tapped on the rear end, so be it. But some of the visuals we have seen today clearly are abusive and out of line. Yeah. And those are just bad parents. But I don't think that, taking your kid and reminding them who's the boss here, you're not punching him in the face, you're slapping him on the rear end. I think it's okay, but it's common sense, what you do with your kids.
You say that, yeah. and I'm of the same belief with you, yeah. In that, there was an expression that, spare the rod, spoil the child, and all the rest. And, Andy Griffith just passed away. But yeah. I remember in everything from Little Opie to all the other shows, the kids would, put the book in the right, back of the pants. Yeah, they didn't right. get, really gotten it pretty bad. It was just a generational thing, maybe, that people debating now. But I always wonder, Dominic, I think the four of us at this table would figure out the line. No matter how mad you get here, you know, you'd figure out the line where you're going too far. However, there's an idiot on every block in America.
Absolutely.
And I'm worried about that person using the discretion. I still think, you know, parents got to decide. But I'll ask you a question. You're standing online in the store, and all of a sudden, some mom, you know, you don't know the context and everything else, she's whacking the kid, you know, right in the store. Do you say something?
My rule of thumb, unless I'm witnessing child abuse, I'm not going to step up and say something to a mother who is doing what she may feel is appropriate to get her child under control. If she's doing something that's life-threatening or something that may permanently injure the child, that's something totally different. But as a rule of thumb, I don't interfere when I see someone disciplining their child.
Andrew, how about you? Where's that line?
Well, I think it's going to be one of those things where you have to give a certain amount of leeway to other parents. Otherwise, you know, when you're dealing with your kids, somebody may jump in and say, hey, that crosses the line there. So I think you have to give parents the benefit of the doubt. It's, you know, I think there are obvious cases and there are laws in the books that, you know, where people need to be investigated. But beyond that, you know, I honestly don't think there's enough. I'm not going to say that more there should be, but it seems like kids are more unruly these days than they have been in the past, and I wonder if the lack of spanking is in some part responsible.
I'm just always shocked by the negotiations that parents have with kids, and I got 3, and I also think some of this is gender. My oldest are daughters, and I wouldn't think of hitting them, but my son, he was a little kid, but if he got out of line, I might be less hesitant to tap his rear end if he did something wrong. But that said, it's just, I'm shocked by how many parents try to have a conversation and try and convince the kid to not do something or do the right thing. I'm like, wait a minute, who's paying the mortgage in the house here? You or Skippy here,
Those
you
kids
know?
who were on that school bus with that monitor who were given, those kids need a spanking.
They need something. I'm with you on that one.